Hi everyone, and welcome back to Cooking in Pink Boots. I'm pretty sure nobody needs an itinerary to know where we're off to. I mean, it's a tamale. It's only been around since what, 8000 BC? If my research is correct, that is. And when I say research, I'm really saying Google search. Anyways, the tamale was the first dish made from corn in Mesoamerica, and it has been through some changes throughout the thousands of years, from its ingredients to its size and even the way it was wrapped. But whether sweet or savory, large or small, one thing has not changed, and that's the tamale being constructed of three main parts. Those being one, a wrapper, two, masa or maize, and three, filling. And although the tamale that I'm about to make does not contain all the ingredients to be considered a traditional or authentic tamale of today's time, it does not mean it's not going to be one delicious hot tamale. And I'm going to make it the quickest and easiest way I possibly can, using ingredients easily found at your local supermarket. So let's get cooking, shall we? And for my Chipotle chicken hot tamale, we will need olive oil, corn husk, instant masa or corn flour, baking powder, a can of chipotle peppers and adobo sauce, diced tomatoes, and your favorite taco sauce. I like the salsa verde, but like I said, use your favorite. Moving on to our stock ingredients: celery, carrots, onions, garlic, and I will be using 6 large chicken thighs. Feel free to use breast if you prefer. I like the thighs because it has so much more flavor. Now, for our seasonings and spices: salt, black pepper, garlic powder, paprika, onion powder, ground cumin, bay leaves, and chicken bouillon. Now, you want to start off by soaking your corn husk in warm water. I usually clean it off as much as I can before completely submerging it, then putting something heavy over it, like a heavy plate, to keep it from rising above the water. Now, we want it to soak for a few hours till they become pliable, making the job much easier. Now, in a large pot, I'm going to place in my chicken thighs along with 1 large yellow onion that I roughly chopped, 8 to 10 cloves of garlic, 2 large carrots that I had peeled and chopped into large pieces, 3 ribs of celery also cut into large pieces. And now let's season, starting off with 1 teaspoon each of all of our seasoning and spices, such as salt, black pepper, garlic powder, onion powder, paprika, cumin, and 2 cubes of chicken bouillon and 2 bay leaves. Now, just fill with water just enough to cover over the chicken, then cook on high heat till your chicken is completely cooked. Then once that's done, remove the chicken, reserving all the liquids, onions, and garlic for our chipotle sauce. Now, using 2 forks, I shredded my chicken, but we like it a bit more on the chunkier side, so just shred it down to the size you prefer. Now, getting started with our chipotle sauce. In a blender, I'm adding 3 of my chipotle peppers in adobo sauce, but if you like your tamale really spicy, feel free to use the entire 7-ounce can. It's not one of those dishes where adding too much heat will mess up the balance. As a matter of fact, for me, it just adds more flavor, although I have a little one that begs to differ. And now adding in 1 can of diced tomatoes. You can use the plain or fire roasted, they both work. Now, obviously, my blender is too small. Yes, I'm one of those don't need it till you need it kind of people. Anyways, I did it in 2 parts, but I'm calling out the recipe in exact measurements. Now, after blending my chipotle peppers and tomatoes, I'm adding in 1 cup of that reserved chicken stock, along with all the cooked onions and garlic, and blending that till pureed. Now, moving on to our masa. In a large bowl, I'm adding 4 cups of instant masa, 2 teaspoons of baking powder, a teaspoon and a half of salt. Mix that all together really well, and now rather than using lard, I'm going to use 3/4 of a cup of olive oil plus an additional 2 tablespoons. Then adding 2 1/3 of a cup of our reserved chicken stock. Now mix until your masa becomes nice and creamy. Then add in 2/3 of a cup of your blended chipotle sauce and mix till it's well incorporated. Now note, masa that is too dry will result in a sandy tamale, and masa that is not beaten or mixed well enough will result in a very dense light tamale. So be sure it has the consistency of creamy peanut butter and that you mix all the ingredients very well, and if by now your masa is not creamy and it's too dry, add more chicken stock till it reaches the right consistency, being like creamy peanut butter. And now for the filling, taking my shredded chicken and adding it to a pot with the heat set to medium, then seasoning with salt and black pepper to taste. Then adding in all the remaining chipotle sauce, and once that's all combined, allow it to cool, and it's time to put together a tamale. And here I have set up my tamale building station with my corn husk, masa, and my filling, which includes salsa verde. Let's begin building our tamale. You want the smooth side of your corn husk facing up, and to it simply spread out a layer of that masa. You can make it thick or thin depending on how you like your tamale. Then add your filling, and once again my filling includes a drizzle of salsa verde, and again it's totally optional with what you want to add on it, if you want to add anything at all. Okay, now let's close this up. Simply flip one side over, kind of like the way you would roll an egg roll, just not so tight. Then just roll closed and bend the end up. Now I tie it using a long length corn husk I had shredded, not because it'll fall apart, just because it's much prettier this way. It's really not necessary to do so, although if you have multiple kinds of tamales, it does help to distinguish which is which. All right, time to get cooking. Now, usually I use a large steamer pot like this when making large quantities of tamales, but because I will only be cooking a few tonight for demonstration of this video and do not own a small steamer pot, I'm going to do what I do best, and that's improvise. So to the smallest yet deepest pot I own, I'm going to lay down a layer of my stainless steel utensils. Then using my steamer basket that actually came with my rice cooker, I'm going to place it right on top, or I'm going to wait for my husband to enter the room and hand me an actual steamer pan made for smaller pots and ask why I'm not using it instead. Yeah. Anyways, adding my water, I stop right before it reaches my steamer pan, then place in my tamales and bring the water to a boil. As soon as it reaches a boil, I'm going to lower my heat from high to medium low and let steam for about 1 hour, checking occasionally if I will have to add more water. Now, once your tamales pulls away easily from the husk, you know they're ready. Although it'll still look kind of wet until your tamale cools down, and mine looks ready. Now, although it looks delicious and firm to touch, it still has to pass not only the taste test, but the tender moist test. And these tamales are A+, graded A for being super delicious and the plus for being super easy to make. Well, I hope you all enjoyed this video of my Chipotle chicken hot tamales. And be sure to join me again on another food adventure from right here in my kitchen, where every day I'm cooking in pink boots. With her, of course. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more upcoming recipes with me, Charlene, right here in Cooking in Pink Boots. Bye.